Let's talk about motion in life. There comes a point where your choices build upon each other to the point where you realize that your momentum in life has reached a point where it sustains itself. And this can be positive choices, this can be negative choices. You're always on a spiral, either upward or downward. If you're staying still, you're stagnant, and you're probably on a downward spiral, more than likely. It's just so slow that you don't realize it. So why does it do that? Well, because choices build upon each other. And so very often, we make little teeny tiny choices that we don't even think about. We don't consider them to be things that put things into motion. But they do. Life is it's sort of like a flywheel in that aspect, where it stores that energy of motion. And at first it may take massive amounts of pushing to get it going. And we think we have to push it all at once, and we don't. That's not how it works. It's bit by bit by bit. 1% a day. But that 1% a day builds up. And next thing you know, you've got this massive thing turning with so much energy that you don't know what to do with. So why does it do that? Well, it's relatively straightforward. Life tends to follow the same laws of motion that everything else does. I mean, if we look at Newton's laws of motion, the first law is a body in motion remains in motion, or a body at rest remains at rest until acted upon by an outside force. Look at your life. Look at the areas where you feel like you're not going anywhere, where things feel stagnant and unmoving. How long have they felt that way? How long has that body remained at rest? For us, it's called homeostasis. Same thing. Things want to return to what they always are, what you're used to. A body at rest remains at rest. A body at motion remains at motion. Until it's acted upon by an outside force. So what is a force in that metaphor? A force is action. It's doing. It's making a choice and doing it. And doing it consistently and more often. Your choice has weight. Which brings us into the second law. That force equals mass times acceleration. that force of your actions, of your choices plus doing, it has weight, it has results, it has consequences. And the more you do it, the more you accelerate into it. Consistency. And the more consistent it is, the more momentum it builds. And why is that? Well, that leads us into the third law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If you push yourself towards a goal, you will move towards that goal. If you do it consistently. Doesn't matter how much you're doing all at once. It's about consistency. The little days that you don't feel like getting up and doing it. The little days you don't feel like going to the gym. The days you don't feel like eating healthy. Just go a little bit. Eat a little bit. The days you don't feel like working on whatever project you have for the day. Do a little bit each day. 1% a day is all it really takes. Now, do you want to do more? Yeah, that's preferable. And you should. But even if you don't, that 1% a day is enough to shift things over the long run. Let's imagine you're sailing across the ocean and you make a little tiny course correction here and now. If you keep making that course correction, by the time you get days into your journey, you'll be way off course. Or you'll be right on course, depending on if you've made that course correction to keep going in the same way you're going. But if you've made course corrections off your original goal, next thing you know, you're way off course. It's the little things. It's the little choices, the little consistent choices that add up. Yeah, the big ones do too, but those aren't the ones that really make the difference, because the little choices are invisible half the time. Always pay attention to your motion. Pay attention to your course corrections. And you'll get there. I promise you, you will get there. You guys have a good night.